Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel for another episode of Let's Read It. Many people argue that Jesus never claimed to be God. One of the most debated verses is John 10:30. It says,
I and the Father are one.
Some respond by saying, but in John 17:22, Jesus also says believers are one. So John 10:30 must only mean unity of purpose. Is that true? Today we will examine some verses, and we will carefully identify who the true God and the eternal life are. In John 10:30, when Christ says, I and the Father are one, the immediate reaction of the Jews is crucial.
They said, We stone you for blasphemy, and because that thou, being a man, makest thyself God.
They understood this statement as a claim to deity. Now look at the context.
In John 10:28-29, Jesus says, He gives eternal life. No one can snatch believers out of His hand. No one can snatch them out of the Father's hand.
Jesus places his hand and the Father's hand on the same level of absolute divine authority. The Greek word for one here is hen, neuter, indicating unity of essence or nature. Not one person, but one thing in some essential sense. This is about shared divine power and nature. Now we look at John 17:22, it says that they may be one even as we are one. Here's where many attempt to reinterpret John 10:30. They argue, see, believers are also one, so John 10:30 must only mean unity of purpose. But context determines meaning. In John 17, Jesus is praying for believers. The unity described here is relational and spiritual unity among many persons. Believers become one in love, in mission, and in spiritual fellowship, but believers do not become one essence or one nature. The difference is clear. John 10 is about divine authority and eternal security, while John 17 is about relational unity among disciples. Same word, different context. Language works that way everywhere. So John 17:22 does not redefine John 10:30. It shows that one must not be interpreted according to context. In John 17:3, do you know that with Jesus Christ who should be recognized as the only true God with the Father? Let's read it in John 17 verse 3. Hear what Christ said.
And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent.
He did not mean that the Father alone is the true God, just because he said that Jesus Christ was only sent, because eternal life is based on knowing them both as the true God, the one who sent him and him who was sent. In fact, John himself also wrote in his first epistle that Jesus Christ is true God in 1 John 5:20. Let's read it.
And we know that the Son of God is come, and hath given us an understanding, that we may know him that is true, and we are in him that is true, even in his Son Jesus Christ. This is the true God and eternal life.
What is referred to in this verse particularly is Jesus Christ, because he is referred to as eternal life, not the Father. I am not saying that the Father is not truly God, but that the one specifically referred to in 1 John 5:20 is Jesus Christ. First, the subject word this has two predicate nominatives that refer to him, the true God and the eternal life. That is to say, the one subject in this particular verse is he who is the true God, and he is also eternal life. Who is John referring to eternal life according to his epistle? Is the Father or Christ? Let's read it in 1 John 1 verse 1-3.
That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled, of the word of life. For the life was manifested, and we have seen it, and bear witness, and show unto you that eternal life, which was with the Father, and was manifested unto us. That which we have seen and heard declare we unto you, that ye also may have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father, and with his Son, Jesus Christ.
As we have read, what is referred to as eternal life is what the apostles saw, heard, touched, and who is with the Father. So the true God and eternal life referred to in 1 John 5:20 is Christ and not the Father. While in John 17:3, grammatically, they both refer to the only true God, not exclusively the Father. Another point is in 1 John 5:20 is that the nearest antecedent is Jesus Christ. Those are the facts that Christ is referred to in the verse. This is why studying the scriptures carefully, verse by verse, and in context is so important. When we let the Bible interpret itself, its message becomes clearer. If this episode helped you understand these passages better, continue studying the Word and always test every teaching by the scriptures. If you want to learn more about the scriptures, please attend to NCGI Mass Indoctrination sessions. Thank you for watching Let's Read It. Until our next reading, keep searching the scriptures. Thanks for reading with me. Stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.